How to become productive? That is today's question, and we are going to stumble our way through this bad boy. Because I'm slightly beaten up, battered and bruised, and, well, yeah, that's that. So let's go get into it and see what we've got. What's going on, beautiful people? This is the Perspective Chasers podcast. I'm your host, John.
And I'm a fool.
To say the least. And today we're going to talk about how we become productive in our own lives, the ups, the downs, the trials and the tribulations, and basically any tangent my wounded brain decides to go on. Because it's a boohoo, poor me kind of day. But Dave's here to hopefully bring spirits up and keep things on track.
You should have told me I would have bought the rum.
Hey?
It's just spirits, man.
Yeah, no, my belly does not need that right now.
It'll make you feel good, though.
For the moment.
That's the point.
But yeah, like, productivity is something that I think is quite sought after in life. I mean, I know it is for me. I'm always trying to get stuff done, and it's something that people will kind of tell you need to be, but they won't ever tell you how to be it or why you should be it. So that's hopefully what we'll talk about today. I know for myself, if I don't have a full kind of list of things to do and everything else, I just feel like I've got nothing to do or nowhere to go in life. What are your kind of initial feelings when it comes to like your workload, and where do you feel productive?
For me, I think when I feel most productive is when it's routine and it's continuous.
Okay.
So like for me, the minute it stops is like, that's the big problem.
But then how long before that continuous routine kind of starts to get dismissed? So whenever I'm in a routine and I find it manageable is not good enough. Mm-hmm. Like for me to actually feel like I'm being productive, like I'm doing stuff, I kind of have to be going like above and beyond. Just doing the kind of routine stuff. Like it works for a while.
Yeah.
But eventually my brain's like, okay, but you've been doing this, where's the more? Do you know what I mean? So it's always looking to keep that plate full, no matter what.
I know what you mean, but I don't necessarily think that means that you're not being productive.
No, I think that is like my pursuit
to me,
of being productive. Do you know what I mean? Like constantly reloading your plate.
Sure. I think for me, productive is just getting things done, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like, and it's not just like, oh, I done one thing today. Like, I put the washing on. It's like, no. Productivity is a full day, man. It's like, I got up, I actually ate today. Like, I got some things done. Like, I done some work because that's my job. I done work on my own stuff. I done work on myself because I train. Like, there's certain tick boxes for me to go, that was a productive day. Like,
and
I feel like for me, like, it means I've done something in most aspects of life. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, did I do my job today? Is it a day where I had to work, and did I earn enough money? Yeah. Tick. Did I work on myself? Did you train? Yeah. Tick. Did you do stuff on your own ventures? Like, did you upload to your social media platforms? Did you do that? Yeah. Tick. Did you check in with your mates? Like, your missus or whatever you've got going on? Yeah. Sweet. That's productivity, because you're maintaining a balance, because you're chipping away at every single thing that needs to be done.
I think
you know what I mean. It's not just that I cook dinner day.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like we were touching on there, is like that kind of snowballing effect, like that compiling interest of like just tasks that you've done, whether it be small or whatever else. When you can sit there and go, I've done this, that kind of builds your own sense of accomplishment, where it's just like, oh wow, I've done a lot. Yeah. So even like if you're kind of pursuing that idea of productivity, just breaking tasks down into small manageable things, and then making sure they're across the board of life, like you were saying. Sure, yeah. Work, social, relationships.
Productivity.
Like, I've done 90 things for work today and nothing for me.
Productivity for me is progress. That's it. Productivity is progression. Doesn't matter how small or how large the thing is. What did you progress today? That spells a productive day for me. You see what I'm saying? It's that kind of the homeostasis, the balance, right? I'm attacking everything because that's what I need to do right now. Well, most of the point, that's what I want to do right now. I want positive interactions with every aspect of my life as often as possible. How do I do that? And then there's certain parts of that become really key components. Obviously, your work life is going to be a big component of that. You spend most of your time there. So if you're negative about that, that's a problem. If you're bumming around there, that's a problem. that sets the kind of cornerstone that everything vibrates off of. Especially with like how my job is and with my schedule. Because my schedule has gaps here and there, that means that's a window to do something. So, I'll do part of my job and I'll be like, we done that well. What's next? Because your next appointment is in 2 hours. You got 2 hours to do something. So what are you going to do?
I know
Are you going to do some movement? Are you going to feed yourself? Well, it's your fault for trying to butt in when I'm trying to talk, okay?
I know. I just don't want to lose it. Go on.
Mister, you don't speak that often. Well, now I am! Say it before you lose it.
No, keep going. I've got it.
Bro, you got some timers. Just say it, man.
So, I think what you're saying is like, it kind of touches on that idea of quiet quitting and why that affects people's mindsets so much. Because when people decide to quiet quit, they're going in to do the minimum as possible. They want to get, so although, okay, fair enough, you might be getting the most out of your employer in that equation, but when your idea of yourself is diminished.
Yeah.
So by quiet quitting, you're literally selling yourself short and playing yourself down. And I think that kind of makes a lot of people suffer and damages their productivity.
Correct.
But sorry, I didn't want to lose what that point was while we was rambling. Sorry.
Yeah, but that point fits perfectly. If your job is majority of your time, which is fairly standard practice for most people, if you're half-assing it, you're going to half-ass everything else because you're not going to care.
Yeah, it
literally affects your mood. Even if you want to move on to bigger things, if you want to do your own thing, you want to work for yourself, you want your own empire, fine. But you can't half-ass what you're already doing because it just sets a bad precedent.
Because it teaches you bad ideas about yourself.
100%. Now, imagine you get to a point where you do have your own business, you've been brave enough to go and do it. You're going to half-ass that? Because you've already set the routine. So now you're going to go do the exact same thing, but this time it's you on the line, no one else. There's no safety net. It's you. You're the one that will face bankruptcy, not your company.
Well, even still, like, imagine now you're that person with that business and you've got 10 employees all quiet quitting for you.
Yeah, literally that, because you half-assed it from the get-go. They just follow the example. So to me, just set the precedent, man. Like, for me, productivity, as I said, productivity is progression. But productivity is also routine. There are certain parts that aren't going to... Yeah, 100%. But that routine becomes the accountability because you become so used to it that it becomes second nature.
But the thing is...
How many times in a week will you message me going, I've done all of this, and it's 10? And I'm like, bro, it's 10 again. Damn.
Most days.
But like, you put it down like a list, but for me, I'm like, for you, it's routine. That's
literally my life. It's
that's
either
another
that, duty,
day.
work, this, that, or whatever.
This is another day. Like, I've got a whole bunch of stuff to do, and I have to do it, and I'm gonna do it.
So like, this is what I was kind of getting to earlier on when I was saying about like constantly reloading my plate, where it's don't get me wrong, dad duty, work, and everything else, doing the pod, all of that stuff. When I started it all at first, it seemed overwhelming, and I was like, "Oh, cool! I'm being productive by starting something new." But eventually I acclimatized to that. And it's like, okay, well, this isn't that hard anymore. I found the routine. I found that if I put this much time into this much time into that, and I can find the gaps. Once that become easy, I no longer felt productive. Although to somebody else, I've got a list of things to do and they're like, wow, John, it's 10 a.m. You've done this. That. I'm just like, yeah, but it's 10 a.m. I've still got 2 more hours until I've got something else I have to do. So now what can I fit in those 2 hours? And I'm always looking to reload that plate. And if I didn't reload that plate, I won't feel productive. No,
that makes sense. I mean, like at my point, I've worked a long time to get my schedule into a point where I have a good balance of time. And I'll sit there and I think, no, we're being pretty productive. But now I'm used to it. So now you're looking at that going, well, you still got a lot of time in that week.
But
so you could be filling with
things. Was it not feeling overwhelming?
Oh, of course it does. But you got to remember, like, this is one thing about being productive, right? Because, as you said, how do you be productive? That's the first big thing. It's gonna feel like, oh, what am I doing? Write it out. You've got to break it. It's you breaking your own systems. It's gonna feel awful at first, but once you get it down, you're just gonna keep going. And when you do have those lazy days, you're gonna think, man, boy, did I earn this? Like, this is mine. And it's not gonna stop you the next day, because the next day you're gonna go, cool, I had my lazy day. What's next?
When you can genuinely say, I've earned this, that's different.
This is my time. And I don't care what no one says. If I want to sit here on a Sunday and watch 4 hours of football and then watch 6 hours of American football covered in Dorito dust, ain't no one going to tell me what about it. Okay? No one. Because I damn well earned this right. But it doesn't stop me on Monday, because you wake up Monday and you go, what are we doing?
But the thing is, it's like, the same sense is like that feeling of accomplishment when you eat a big old freaking calorific meal after a dirty training session. And like, yeah, I earned this. It's that same sense when you get to Sunday and you've had a beast of a week and you're like, I've done this, I've done that, I've done da 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 da. And you're like, yeah, I have earned this lazy day.
Yes.
That feeling is more fuel to that fire, because once, like, a lazy day under those conditions compared to a lazy day of just like, bro, you've been slobbing for 6 days already, so
Literally.
you really need another lazy day, but go on, have it. How's your mindset going to feel in that? So literally just the mindset boost you get from being productive. Even like at the beginning of this episode, I said I'm in a negative headspace at the minute. Like I genuinely feel beaten up. But the idea of still putting in the work, still meeting up with Dave, still actually doing something and not just drowning in that pit of self-pity and blah, 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 blah. Dog. I'm starting to feel better for it.
Dog.
And it's slowly, going up. But we'll get there. You leave that pit and if you're not willing to do something, if you're not willing to start, even if it is just a little action of chipping away at the walls with a blunt spoon, do something other than just sitting in the pit, because the problems are always going to be there. And the only way to get out of that pit is to start chipping away at something and building that productivity. And whether it be like financially, work, relationships, or whatever else, once you start being productive and putting in the work in that area of life, things should improve. It might take its time, but it will improve, and you'll learn to find that groove, and you'll climatize to the struggles and the schedules and all of the energy that is required. And eventually that pit won't be familiar to you anymore. You'll be far out of it and you won't even realize it.
Start small. Start somewhere. That's the big thing. Like, it's going to be overwhelming, but you also need to try and be somewhat organized.
And patient.
Patience is a big one, but like, there'll be people sitting there going, well, where do I start? How do I do it? What do I do? But write it down. Make a list. Don't ever diminish the power of a list. Have a to-do list, man. Seriously. Like, it's so basic, but it's a fundamental, especially when you're starting out, because you're going to have a million things in your head or you're going to have nothing. Now, if you have a million things in your head that you need to do, you need to see what they are instead of just thinking about what they are. If you see what they are, you can prioritize, you can get it done. If you have nothing in your head, you need to do some soul searching. And you need to figure out what it is that you want to do. Because there'll be something you want to do, and there'll be a way to build this all in. And it could be as basic as just move. Plan movement into your day. That's your to-do list for the day. That's what you do on Monday. Especially if you're one of those people who are in a funk and you're kind of silent, you're quiet quitting or whatever, and you're a bit down or whatever. Plan some movement in your day. That's your thing for you. That's your building block. Go for a bloody walk. Don't have to go to the gym. Go for a walk. Go play some Pokemon Go. Go do something, right?
Just get out of the house.
Just go and do something. That's healthy. That is a healthy thing for your brain. I remember saying this a while ago to someone. Like, there are times where if I'm at home and it's a day off or whatever and I don't feel good, I'm going for a walk. I'm going to change this, because if I can't get out of that funk, that means I need to change the environment. That will bring me out of it. Move.
And this is the thing, like, there's something to be said for, like, you said so many good points there, but I want to, oh, sorry, I got something in my eye.
It's called your eyeball.
No, it's my eyelash. It shouldn't actually be inside my eye.
Well, no, that's probably not a good idea, man.
Oh, sorry, I need to serve them eviction notice. Give me a minute, guys. Oh,
Absolute liability that I work with.
leave. I thought I was blind before. My God. Back in the room. Sorry, what was that last thing you said? I had something to run off from it, but...
Of course, you rub the eyelash out your eye, you also rub the thought out your head at the same time. Who would have guessed
Bro,
it?
it fell out my ear.
Who would have guessed that John lost where he's at?
John just lost it. You could have left it there.
Oh, take that off my Tuesday bingo card.
It's Wednesday, figuratively speaking.
Well, don't do it like Tyler's track of days. I'm late.
Yeah, so that's what it was. So I think people are so easy to dismiss those small aspects of whether it be making a list or getting outdoors. So quickly to delve on the importance of making a list, whether it be a to-do list or whatever that may be, right? When you're thinking of things to do, That list in your head, even if you've memorized every single item on that list, there's no end to it. So it just circles and circles and circles. So it can start to overwhelm you. So when you actually get it out of your head and put it on paper, especially if it's financial problems, the numbers will buzz around your head. So put it down on paper and find a way to actually like make it stay still. So when you've got that list there, you can see a physical end to the list. You know there's 5, 10, 20, 100 things on that list. But that's it. Once you get to that 100 things, that's the last of the list. Whereas if they're in your head, they're free flow. They're just spooling around, coming back to you one after another. And that list feels infinite. And that feeling is overwhelming and makes you freeze. And then you don't know what to do. So first point, like Dave said, make a list. Get it out of your head and contextualize the problem. Second step, do something about it. Whether it be get outside, do something small, talk to a friend, have a little workout, have some good food, eat some fruit, have a good meal, whatever it may be, take some kind of small action and start getting yourself out of it. That small action is enough. It is far more than doing nothing. And it is the start of you pulling yourself out that pit. But getting out of that pit don't start without these small actions. So do not dismiss them. There's so much progress that is made in those things that are so easily dismissed. Those, hi, how are you? Hope you have a good day. And those little interactions that just being out in the world remind you of. Hearing a bird's tweeting and the wind blowing or whatever else, the sun on your face. Just reminding yourself that you're alive is so powerful when it comes to helping you feel like you want to actually go in life again instead of just be like, I just want to sit in the pit.
100%.
But that was a bit of a rant.
A very positive one, though.
Yeah, surprising. Thank you. Again, bro, you see how much of a pit I was in when you turned up. So
Stank, man. Stanky.
Still do.
Stanky pit.
But going through this, still doing the pod, still getting the work done, still seeing you and everything else, that pit is a little more shallow now.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, my toe is still throbbing, my stomach still feels freaking naughty, my freaking head still feels fading and everything else. But already I don't feel as bad as I did an hour or 2 hours ago.
Brother.
Oh yeah, I know, I can feel my pulse in my baby toe.
You're alive, brother. That's all that matters.
But we keep pushing on, regardless, the good, the bad, the ugly, we still keep going. I think we'll wrap this episode up there. The seed for this episode, have you got one? Save my brain.
Every day that you wake up, you have something left to do. Maybe it's someone to annoy. Maybe it's one thing to tick off your to-do list. But never forget that you are blessed to still be here. So go and get it done. Go and be productive. Go and chase the small wins. Go chase the big wins. But never ever stop.
All the best, and we'll catch you on the next one.